And that's as a form of safety. I have great confidence in our companies. We have companies the greatest in the world.
Joel Griffith, Heritage Foundation Research Fellow for Financial Regulations, joins us now on what is anything but a quiet week, a quiet Christmas week, as we've seen this downward trend happen. What is driving the overall slowdown?
Well, there's quite a bit, a few factors of uncertainty that have driven the slowdown. And as you know, this has been the worst December so far since the Great Depression for the stock market. I think there's a lot of things coming into play here. The government shutdown, that's a relatively minor factor, but there is a growing concern over the tariffs that we've seen placed on China and numerous allies. And there's also a growing concern that there's a possibility of a bit of a slowdown here. And of course, globally, we've been outperforming the globe, but globally, that's a concern as well, and we're affected by that.
Yeah, a lot of challenges in China and in Japan. The president crowed a lot about the market earlier in the year. Now he's really been hammering the Fed. And earlier today, I just lost it. Here it is. He said they're raising interest rates too fast. Essentially, how much of a factor does that play into this?
I think that's a bit of noise when it comes to the interest rate hikes. There's definitely disagreement with good economists regarding how quickly these rates should be implemented. I really think the focus should be longer term on how do we actually reform the Fed to make sure that we don't engage in the type of monetary experimentation that we've seen over the past 7 years. If you look at what happened coming out of the Great Recession with the Fed pumping trillions of dollars into just a few sectors of the economy, basically a relatively small number of troubled banks, and then buying up trillions of dollars worth of government bonds, that really distorted our economic system. This is not all Trump's fault, President Trump's fault. The bubbles that the Federal Reserve has helped to reinflate, primarily the housing market, and also subsidizing government spending, that started long before President Trump's tenure. But we have to recognize that this is a problem, and we need to resolve it in the future.
But what about the trade war aspect of all of this? We've taken a lot of, especially looking at China in particular. They've made this deal regarding American cars. So is that working out at all? Does this have anything to do with what we're seeing as far as this economic slowdown is concerned?
Well, I believe that a lot of the uncertainty is related to the threat of tariffs and the tariffs that have been imposed. Certainly, if we end up with an agreement with China on automobiles and other products, we may see an agreement on reaching hundreds of products. That would be a huge economic win. But as of right now, we do not have that certainty. And we don't yet have that certainty on NAFTA either.
What about just the big news out of Washington? We've got this shutdown. Does that have any impact?